Hello, it's Sony Photography here. It's been more than 3 months that I switched to Windows as a full-time operating system. Before I used to have Mac OS or my MacBook until it died. This video I talk about why I switched from MacBook to my MSI GS63VR. And I've been using Windows for a lot of stuff and it's been pretty good so far, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that made it easier in the transition and how my experience have been overall. Back when I had macOS, I really enjoyed it. It was a really good experience. It was easy to use, simple and intuitive. I didn't have any troubles with it. I mean, there was some learning curve. Before coming to macOS, I was in Windows, and coming to macOS was just, I had to learn some of the things. But honestly, Windows has come pretty far and it's been streamlined, and the experience is actually really good. And I'm going to talk about some of the 4 things that made my transition easier from macOS to Windows. The first one is window management. In macOS, I use this program called Spectacle that helped me organize my desktop in different ways. I could put in one half of the screen, I could put Google Chrome, and the other one I could put Slack. Or in one quarter, I could put command line, and other quarter I could put something else. And I could just, divide up my screen so I could see more things by looking at it. I feel like this is useful whatever you're doing, whether you're doing homework or you're programming or you're working on Excel sheets. Doesn't matter. Being able to split your screen into multiple windows, it really helps and helps with productivity. The second thing is workspace management. Both in Ubuntu and macOS, you have the options to have multiple workspaces. By workspaces, I mean like multiple desktops. So you can have like one desktop could be your communications, the other one could be something else. So you could switch in between them to keep distractions away from each section. I use this all the time, and both in macOS and Ubuntu. At work I use it in Ubuntu. I have multiple workspaces and it's very useful. Same with macOS, you can swap in between them with the mouse pad. Just do like a 3-finger swipe and you'll move between different workspaces. Since I did multiple types of development, I would have one desktop for communications. I would have Slack open. I would have Inbox, Gmail, Calendar. And in another desktop, I would have my Android editor, Android Studio. And in another workspace, I would have Ruby on Rails and like web development stuff. I could switch in between them and keep my focus in one place instead of having everything in one desktop, have a bunch of different windows. It will be unmanageable. I personally find this really productive. That's why it's my number 2. Number 3 is being able to take a screenshot in multiple different ways. In macOS and Ubuntu, the OS gives you a bunch of options to take different types of screenshots. There are different key combinations you could use, and one of them is either take a screenshot of the whole screen or take a picture of the active window. Let's say you just want to take a screenshot of Google Chrome, for example. You can do that. Or you could select a specific area with the mouse by drawing like a rectangle or a square, and that area will be your screenshot. This usually goes to your desktop or whatever default folder you have, or you could have it go to your clipboard and you can just paste it into whatever you want. You can paste it into your email, paste it into Slack, Hangouts, and whatever app you want to use. You can just do the paste command and the image will be there. This is a very efficient way of sharing images and different types of visual data. And the fourth is being able to do a computer-wide search really fast. In macOS, there's Spotlight. You could do command space and you could just search. You want to open Slack, you want to open Photoshop, you want to open Premiere Pro. Type it and press enter and it will just open it. And you don't have to type the whole thing. You could maybe just type pray and then it will just figure out that you're trying to search for Premiere Pro. And with these searches, you can do more smart searches. Spotlight enables you to do some math calculations or just do internet searches. Ubuntu also has something similar. You press the Ubuntu key or whatever Windows key. After pressing the Windows key, you can start searching for whatever you want and just open it. I got into this habit because of macOS, because Spotlight was just so simple and easy to use. And second, because when I was learning Mac, I was having a hard time finding all my applications that I've installed in the beginning. So Spotlight was just an easy way. Whatever it's installed, I can just search with Spotlight and it's very simple. So thankfully, Windows has a solution to all of these. For the first one, Windows allows you to split your desktop into half. You can press the Windows key and then the arrow to split your window into like one half. And then if you put one window to one half, it will kind of like give you an overview of all your other windows that are open in that workspace. And you can click on it to put it on the other half. Or you can just press escape and just have that thing on one half and don't have anything on the other side. Honestly, dividing my screen into half was good enough on the laptop screen. I don't have an external monitor yet, but once I have an external monitor, I might need to split it in 2 quarters. Number 2, multiple workspaces. Windows actually does have support for this, and it's actually really nice. I was surprised at how nice it works. The implementation is pretty similar to how it is in Mac OS. In Ubuntu, you usually have just like 4 workspaces if you just use the functionality provided by the OS. Ubuntu just gives you 4 workspaces and you can just switch in between them. For the most part, that's pretty good. 4 workspaces is enough for me. I usually use 3, sometimes I'll use 4, but I haven't needed even more. But that's when I'm programming. But in Windows, you can just create as many as you want. So first of all, if you want to see everything in your current desktop, you can press Windows key and tab. And this is pretty much similar to swiping with 3 fingers up on the Mac touchpad. So this will show all your windows on that current window, and you can see what's currently on, so you can move them to different desktops. So maybe in the beginning you might not have any desktops. To add a secondary desktop, all you have to do is press Control, Windows, and D. This will create a new desktop and move you to the new desktop. Now you'll have 2 different desktops or workspaces. And to go back to your previous desktop, you have to press Control, Windows, and the left and right arrows. But let's say you want to move specific things from your first desktop to the second one. That's when you can press Windows and Tab key and drag any of the windows you want into the second desktop. Like I said, this is very similar to macOS, so it wasn't very hard for me to pick up. I'm glad that Microsoft went with an existing familiar solution. That's definitely a big plus for me. Another cool thing is, let's say you have Chrome open in the one desktop and you move into the second one. If you click on the Chrome icon, it will open a new window. In other OSs, and I think in Ubuntu and Mac, if you don't have Chrome open on that window, if you press on the Chrome icon, it will actually move you back to the first one. In Mac, it will actually rearrange whatever desktop you have Chrome on. It will rearrange and bring it to next to whatever window you're in. This could get a little confusing. In Ubuntu, it doesn't rearrange anything, but it will just move you back to that desktop if you click on the Chrome icon. So number 3, being able to take screenshots in different ways. Windows has print screen, so if you press print screen, it will actually take a screenshot of your whole screen and it'll add it to your clipboard. So you can just take a screenshot and do Control V and it will just paste it into whatever you are. But what if you don't want the whole screen? Well, you could use the snipping tool, which has been around for a while, but that's also a lot of work. You know, in Ubuntu and Mac, you could just press a combination of keys and you could just drag your mouse and select a specific area, and it's really simple. So for this, I have to download an app called Greenshot, and that will pretty much overwrite the print screen button. If you press the print screen button, you will actually get to select an area where you want to screenshot, and after it's done, it will give you different options. So one of them is save it to your clipboard, save it to a default folder, or save it to a custom folder. And there are different options. I think you can send it by email and do all these different things. I really like this app because it's powerful. I can do everything on the fly. I don't have to remember custom keyboard combinations. It's just one keyboard button and then it's just simple. You just drag it and just select your option. And number 4 is being able to search system-wide. Windows has a really good system in Windows 10 where you just press the Windows key. It's part of Cortana where you could just do all these smart searches, but I have this Cortana disabled because I don't need it, but it gives you a really good search in your OS. So let's say if you want to open Premiere Pro, or if you want to open network settings, or if you want to open device manager, all these things are just like you just type a few characters, device, and the first option will be device manager. So this is very similar to Spotlight search and the search in Ubuntu. So I really welcome this change. It really made me feel like home. I didn't have to relearn anything, and it's just like one key press. Also, in addition to all these 4 steps that help me with my productivity, I also had to make sure the software that I use work both in Mac and Windows. Thankfully, a lot of the software that I use work in both. Premiere Pro, all the Adobe Creative Cloud apps both work in both OSs, which is great. Also, my music production and DJing software both work in Mac OS and Windows. So it wasn't that difficult for me. And before, I used to do some light gaming on Mac OS. I think just played Dota 2 and Diablo 3, and both of those run on Windows even better because I have better hardware. Before, I used to do gaming on my previous desktop computer, but ever since I moved out of my parents' house, I don't have access to that. But now I have my own laptop where I could do some serious gaming. So gaming wise, switching from Mac OS to Windows, you get even more support, even more access to games, which is awesome. And as far as programming goes, well, Windows isn't really great for programmers. Mac OS and Ubuntu are pretty much the standard if you want to go into software development. You can do a lot of stuff in Windows. There's a lot of support now in different technologies, but you're gonna get better support in macOS and Ubuntu. So that's why in the beginning I used to use a VM on Windows until my SSD cable came from MSI. I made a video about that, but the VM was really slow, so as soon as the cable came, I installed Ubuntu as a secondary OS, and now I dual boot, and it's just night and day difference about performance. So I didn't need to do this with macOS. I was just doing programming, video editing, gaming and DJing, everything in one OS, but now I have to switch in between. Although recently I did install Linux Bash on Windows, and I have a lot of things running. I just need to use it more often, see if I can just, completely switch my whole development workflow into Windows. Then I don't really need to boot to Ubuntu, but again, the performance I get in Ubuntu is much better than having Ubuntu Bash in Windows. So overall, the life after switching from Mac to Windows has been actually pretty good. I thought I would be missing a lot of the features. I thought I would hate it, but I was wrong. It was actually pretty good. I came to this with an open mind. I'm glad that I switched actually. Windows isn't as bad as it just used to be. It has gotten a lot better with Windows 10. They have really streamlined the experience and it's more professional now. It really caters to a bigger crowd now, even that crowd includes future macOS users. As you can see, there has been a lot of buzz around people switching from Mac to Windows because the new MacBook is really expensive and ditched all the ports. You have to spend money on different dongles and all the cables. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be going through this process. So if you've been going through this process, let me know how you feel. Was it as easy and smooth as mine, or did you have troubles? I mean, my experience wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad at all. I talked some of the issues I had with the MSI GS63VR in my video about why I switched to it. But after I fixed all of those, right now I have no issues. The computer is running like a beast and hasn't given me any problems so far in Windows. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope it was really useful, and just let me know how your process have been. My next video will be on programmer's experience on MSI GS63VR. I'm going to talk about what I have to do to create a professional environment to develop software. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.